branches of yoga? Who can answer me? What are the branches of yoga? Who can answer me?
Raja Yoga.
Okay, what is Raja Yoga?
Raja Yoga is the science of yoga.
Okay, what does it entail?
The philosophy of yoga.
Perfect. And what does that entail? What is the philosophy? What do you study?
You learn the...
Who can? Somebody else. Somebody else. Meditation, concentration, what else?
Control of the mind, ethical perfection.
Ethical perfection, control of the mind.
And it leads ultimately
To?
the state of samadhi or superconsciousness.
Okay, who can explain the word samadhi or superconsciousness? Anybody like to try?
When the mind is steady and there's no disturbances, the mind remains calm.
That's exactly what it is, and don't worry too much about samadhi, okay? Although the goal is to reach samadhi, don't worry about it and don't think about enlightenment. When you think about it, you can't get it. When you have it, you're not even aware, you're not there anymore. So this all sounds very complicated, and I don't want to confuse you. So just think the goal is attaining peace. What is another branch of yoga?
Bhakti yoga. Bhakti.
One at a time. Bhakti?
Bhakti.
Okay, what does that entail?
Yoga, love.
Okay. Who can explain yoga of love? What does that mean to you?
Devotion.
Devotion. What does devotion mean to you?
Surrender.
Surrender. Okay, what other words could you use for devotion? Yeah, I guess there's a lot of commitment. Yeah, dedication, dedication, dedication to the cause, whatever cause that makes you love so much. All right, what's another branch? If you put your hands up, it'd be easier because I have everybody saying a different one. Okay.
Japa yoga,
Okay.
repetition of a mantra.
Can you say it loud to the room?
Japa yoga, the repetition of a mantra to connect to the divine vibration, and to in order to calm the mind, to concentrate to calm the mind.
Thank you. Excellent. Excellent. What's another branch? Yes.
Karma yoga.
Karma yoga. And what is karma yoga?
That's doing that selfless service, say doing a duty without attachment.
Wonderful. That's exactly what it is. Doing what you need to do without attachment. Sounds easy, doesn't it? One of the hardest things for people, to the human being, to learn. And it starts in your very own home. You have a friend or a partner, and you tell your partner, I love you, and they don't repeat it. Can you handle it? Do you fall apart? Karma yoga is to do and serve without expecting anything in return. Whoa, it's a big one. And we'll be working with this throughout the course. And that's where you start, in your home. That's where the training comes, and it's training. But training doesn't mean weakness. Goodness is not weakness. What you're going to learn here is goodness with a strength, without cowardice. How do you balance that? That's tough. That's tough. And that's what you will learn that you are capable of doing. And you will do as you progress, learning about who you are and what you are. You will come from a place of strength, so you can do all those things. And you'll be surprised at what you're capable of. And karma yoga is a brilliant one. Because when you learn to do that, you can cope with anything in life. So when you have no expectations, you don't get disappointed. My master used to say, don't make an appointment and you won't be disappointed. So, things change constantly. We're constantly tested. We're constantly, you expect something to happen and it doesn't happen. All our lives. And once you learn the science, you just flow. You flow with the good times, you flow with the bad times. You don't attach yourself. That's the non-attachment. It's not that you don't love everything. You love everything, but you know nothing is yours. You don't attach yourself to anything. You don't attach. Do you see? You don't become sticky, sticky, gluey, gluey. that's the difference. You love everything, but you take away the stickiness away from it. You know, when you're glued like this, it's a lot of trouble to rip up the tape, huh? And I will tell you, you know, the other week somebody was giving me a cure. Carol was giving me a cure in Sweden. My beloved friend Ulla loves me so much. And we put some tape. The tape was so hard that when I ripped it off, it ripped off my skin.
Oh.
No, it's no big deal. I had to laugh, you know, because if you look at my shoulder, I have the world map there with all the different things I've tried, right? Ice, whatever. So I just really found it extremely funny. And you see, this is what happens when you become sticky with life. I don't know why, Shanti, this is making so much noise. When you become very sticky with anything in life, it's really hard. When you try to separate, it really hurts. And it burns. It burns. And all of you are going to burn during this course. Oh, I'm so sorry to tell you that. Because maybe you become very, very sticky with your world that you think is your world, and it's no longer your world, and then you have to let go of all these preconceived ideas, all these boxes of what is good and what is not good, what is evil and what is right and what is wrong, you know, what is life, what is death. How do we make any judgments? How do we decide? So you'll come away slowly from this. It takes many, many years to come away from what we have been taught to think. But it's worth it. Like I was telling Pilar today, it's the best work you can do, because the gift you get after a few years is the peace and a feeling of freedom. One of the greatest gifts this course gave me was a feeling of being home. At home with me. Do you know? I was at home with me. I realized I never felt at home with me anywhere. And when I finally felt at home with me, it was such a comfortable place to be. I was at home in myself. And if you're home at yourself, you're comfortable everywhere, right? So if people try to make you feel uncomfortable, they can't. Because you become comfortable with yourself. It's only when you're not comfortable with yourself that people will try and manipulate you and make you feel uncomfortable. Haven't you noticed? Wherever you're most weak, people will manipulate. Haven't you noticed? Do you think they really want to manipulate you? No. It's because we allow them. Because we're not comfortable with ourselves. Become comfortable, and then nobody can push those buttons. Okay? So I think, to me, that was the greatest gift. Yes, you have a question.
I have a question. What's the difference between comfortable and thick-skinned?
Big difference.
Between comfortable and what? I didn't-
Thick skin.
Okay, thank you.
Big difference. Thick skin is almost like a repression. I don't want to feel it, so I develop all these layers and barriers. It's kind of like a repression. You're not facing it, you're just covering it up. And you know what I always say? Careful, because one day those skeletons will come out of the closet. One day you will explode. If you become thick-skinned, oh, this doesn't bother me. Oh, and this is how you know. Oh, this doesn't bother me. Oh my God, it really bothers you. That's when you know it really. You know the signs. You see it in the eyes. You see it in the face. Start to watch how people speak to you. Start to become really clever. This is the yoga science, so that you're not fooled by Maya, you're not fooled by the illusion. You see right through it. See right through anything that's dishonest, insincere. Learn to do that. This is the great gift of this science as well, because you learn to see where you are being thick-skinned. And it's because you don't want to face it, so I'm thick-skinned. Oh, doesn't bother me. I'm thick-skinned. Comfy is, yeah. It's a sad thing that happens. What can you do? It's life. It's a more acceptance, surrender. There is a pain, there is a peace in it. Thick skin is avoidance, so you're never dealing with the problem. You're always avoiding it. And life doesn't allow that. Sooner or later we have to face all our problems, whether we like it or not. Sooner or later. Life brings them on us. to teach us precisely those lessons, that we need to be brave and we need to move on and we need to get out of this never-ending spiral, yes, perfect world of suffering, and come to a place of peace and joy. Okay, what's the other branch of yoga? Yes,
Jnana Yoga.
Jnana Yoga.
It's more finding yourself and at the end accomplish the oneness with yourself
Yes. Okay, great.
and finding the wisdom within you.
Okay, great. The greater wisdom.
Yes.
Okay, we will now start to differentiate between the higher self and the lower self. Okay, we all have that in us, the highest and the lower. We'll call the higher self with a capital I, and the lower self with a little I with a dot. All right? We both live within each other. Oh, I started this morning with a story, and maybe this story will help you. I'll tell it again. There was a queen who had 4 lovers. Her 4th lover she was madly in love with. He was so good looking, he was handsome, beautiful, spent a lot of time with her, very body conscious. She loved him like crazy. The 3rd lover was very good by her presence, give her things, but she was a little bit fearful because she was always threatened that he might go and run off with somebody else. She still loved him. The 2nd lover was a man that she confided in and spoke with. She loved him too. But the 1st lover was madly in love with her, but she wanted nothing to do with that lover. Nothing to do with that lover. And he would do anything for her. Anyway, it came to the day when the queen was dying. She was very ill and she had to die. And she was so frightened of dying. And she goes, oh my God, I'm going to leave behind all my lovers. I don't want to leave this world. I want somebody to come with me. So she calls her 4th lover, her favorite, mad, passionate lover. And she goes to the lover and she goes, please, please, will you come with me? I love you. He goes, no, I won't come with you. I'm going to be here, with my beauty. And she goes to her 3rd lover and she goes, I really would like you to come with me. I'm so frightened to die. I'm so frightened to die. Will you come with me? He goes, you know what? I can't come with you. And besides, when you die, I'm telling you now, I probably will remarry again and find somebody else. And she's really heartbroken. It brings a stab of pain into her heart. She goes to her 2nd lover. She said, we've been such good friends. We've always confided with each other. Will you come with me? 2nd lover says, no, I'll walk you to your grave, but I will not come with you. And she calls the 1st lover, will you come? And the 1st lover says, I will follow you anywhere you want to go. I will love you till eternity, and I will be with you. And she looked at the 1st lover, and she saw the lover had become so thin and so sad with the lack of nutrition of love. And she felt sorry that she had not spent more time giving more time and love to this 1st lover. The 4th lover represents our possessions on this earth. Our body. Beauty, our body, the attention, the time we give to our body. It cannot come with us when we die. It will be left on this earth. The 3rd lover represents our possessions. Easy come, easy go. Or go to somebody else when we die. Our 2nd lover represents our family and friends. They can walk with us to the grave, but they can't come with us. And the 1st lover represents our very own soul that stays with us throughout eternity. And in our life, hopefully we learn to nourish this lover and give it the time it needs, so when it comes to the time of dying, there will be no fear, just full of love and full of joy. And this is the science of Raj Yoga, that we become in touch with this lover, our best lover of all. Everything else goes. Alright? So make that your first lover and find peace. So now we will start with our science, and I'll start with some. This is the Yoga Sutras of Sri Patanjali. Can you all say it? Can you say Patanjali? We will be talking about Patanjali for the next few months, all the time. So you really need to know that word Patanjali. And it's not Patanjali. Alright? It's Patanjali. Say it again. Patanjali. Okay. What does the word sutra mean? I taught you that last week. What does the word thread? Thread, yeah. So these are little threads of knowledge that give you the tapestry in the end to understand your whole life. Alright? So if you please go to page, I would like you to read your introduction for your homework. Book 1. There are 4 books in this one book. Alright? The first book is called Samadhi Pada. Can you all say that? Samadhi Pada. Okay, we are going to start with book 1. Samadhi, all of you know now, means nirvana in Buddhism. It means super consciousness, or in touch with one, or in one with God, or in one with the divine. Whatever word you want to use, and one with nature, it's up to you. Alright? But it's that state of consciousness that's beyond the human consciousness. And the second book is called, who knows? Who knows? Anybody? Yes.
Sadhana.
That was something one of you teachers would tell me. Okay. Sadhana. 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 Can you all say? Sadhana. 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 Good. And that means practice. Your practice. Sadhana pada. Practice. The second part is all about practice. The third book, anybody know? Vibhuti. Yes. Vibhuti. What you will accomplish with these practices. What will happen to you. We will not be studying too much of this. I'll explain when we get there. Vibhuti Pada. And the fourth book, we don't touch at all till you do Raj 2 one day. By that time you won't need to do it, because by the time you practice you will already understand it. Kaivalya Pada. Can you say? Kaivalya Pada. And that's freedom. When you attain the state of feeling free, we call it moksha also. M-O-K-S-H-A. Moksha. State of freedom while you're alive. Feeling free while you're in the body. Alright? So those are the 4 books. We will be doing now today. Let's go to Sutra 1. We're good, doing well for time. Okay, now would somebody read that, please? In English.
Now the exposition of yoga is being made.
Okay, now remember, Patanjali is page 3. Patanjali is a scientist, right? And he's just telling his students simply, now I'm going to tell you what yoga is all about. I'm going to tell you. Now, it's up to you whether you want it or you don't want it. He's very scientific about it. Here is the information. Take it if you want it, don't take it if you don't want it. Are you very clear? It is a science. It's not a religion. but it is a science that includes all religions or doesn't include all religions. It's really up to you. It's a science. It is a science of the mind. It is a science of the soul. It is a science that helps you find the journey within. It's your walk through life. This book will be your map whenever you get lost in life, whenever you feel lost emotionally, spiritually. This book, pick it up and read any sutra. Once you understand it, you will get your answers. So this will help you walk through life. Life is not simple. Life is a bit complicated. Like I say, we expect many things to happen that don't happen. How do you live through your pains and your traumas? How do you live through all your disappointments? So this is your map and this is your book. The second sutra, you all need to learn the Sanskrit and the English by heart. So don't worry, in the beginning it all sounds strange. After a few months, it'll be easy. And the reason why you have to learn Sanskrit for this particular sutra is because Sutra 2 and Sutra 3 basically gives you in a nutshell what the whole science is about, what you need to do, and what the end result is. The rest of the book tells you how to achieve that. And there are words in English that will never be comparable to the words in Sanskrit. So in the beginning, you go, I don't know why I'm saying it in Sanskrit. After 8 months, you will only say it in Sanskrit much easier than English. Because the Sanskrit meaning, after a while, you tend to understand is much bigger than the English words can fit in. Alright? And you'll get comfortable with it because we'll keep repeating it. So the second sutra is in Sanskrit. If you all look at your book so you can follow it. Yoga, Chitta, Vritti, Nirodha. Can you all say it again? Yoga, Chitta, Vritti, Nirodha. Again. Yoga, Chitta, Vritti, Nirodha. Again. Yoga, Chitta, Vritti, Nirodha. And in English, can somebody read it?
The restraints of the modifications of the mind stuff is yoga.
Everybody now. The restraints of the modifications of the mind stuff is yoga. What does that mean? Look at the word restrain. To restrain. Restrain. What does restrain tell you? Thought comes up. You have the ability to stop it. Like anger, right? I remember before I started studying this, when I got angry, I got angry. I didn't think I could do anything with my anger. I just have to be angry. Full stop. And then after you get angry, you regret you get angry, you don't sleep all night, you start shaking, and then you get angry at the person gets angry back at you, vicious cycle, pain, suffering, years, months, and the world is such a horrible place to be in. After I studied this sutra, I realized, oh my God, I can change the way I think by restraining the thought. So when a thought comes up, for example, in anger, the thought comes up, or sorrow, or feeling sorry for yourself, whatever you keep doing all the time, that's the one you'll be working with all the time. Some people just always constantly like to feel sorry for themselves. But this, Nalanie, but this, but. So when the but comes up, where do you go? No buts. Just attend to it. Find a solution. Stop making excuses. You see, that's what you can do. But that takes training. That's restraining. Restraining is very different from repressing. The question you asked earlier. You don't want to repress. If you're upset about something, you need to talk about it. You need to bring it out. If you repress, oh, I'm not supposed to be angry, so I'll restrain it. I'll hold it in, so I'm a good person. No. Wrong way to deal with it, because you'll get sick. I'm angry. You need to find a solution. Why are you angry? What can you do to alleviate this anger? What do you need? What is the cause for the anger? You need to go right to the bottom. But while you're learning why you're angry and you're going to the bottom, you restrain it, but you use something else to help you so that you don't get miserable restraining. Because restraining is very painful too. It's not an easy thing to do, to restrain the thought. So we have many methods in here that will teach you what you can do to help while you're restraining so that you don't get sick and repress instead. Because this is what most people do. They think restraint and repression is the same thing. Don't. Because sometimes things happen to you because you need to express them. You have to say it. But when you can learn to express them without anger, then say it. If you say it with anger, it's too many consequences. You can't put out a fire with a fire. You have to put out fire with water. So you have to learn how to find the water in yourself so you can put out the fire. But you still have to put out the fire. You don't allow it to burn. That's not correct. A lot of people who go into spirituality allow the fire to burn, thinking, oh, I'm so good, you see? I'm so good. But no, you're not so good. You're a coward. You're not dealing with a problem. You need to deal with problems. Otherwise, they keep coming back again and again and again. But how to deal with them is what you will learn to do. By restraining the thought, thinking a little, simple English, say, take a deep breath and count to 10. I think maybe I'll stick with the other mic today. Do you have that? Could we have that? Yeah, because then I can move. So, can you all say that again? Yogas, chitta, vritti, nirodha. The restraint of the modifications of the mind stuff is yoga. Okay, yoga. What does the word yoga mean? The word yoga means union. To yoke on, to yoke on. What is yoking on to what? Your human personality is yoking on to your divine soul and spirit. So, you are yoking on to the God within, or some people call it Jesus, Moses, what doesn't matter what you call it. You are yoking on to that is who you really are, your spirit, your higher self. And that's what you're doing. That's the word yoga. To join, to become one with. To become one with. And chitta I'm going to show you on the board. I don't need to stand, Shani. I'll just hold the mic. It's much easier so I can move around. Thank you very much indeed. Chitta is, you don't have a word for chitta in English. Chitta is consciousness. Psychology says there's your conscious mind and your subconscious mind. How does your conscious mind work? When you are conscious is what's happening now. You react to things that are consciously happening now. Subconscious mind is a little bit deeper. Okay, maybe Bhavani comes into the room and she goes, oh, Nalanie, you put on a bit of weight, right? Maybe she'll say something like that to me. Now, my subconscious mind as a child, maybe I was very big, right? And so, I've been told as a child, for me it's an insult. Weight is a negative thing, right? It's a negative thing. So even though she tells me something really truthful, really nice, telling me the truth, great. Thank God friends tell you the truth, because you certainly don't want your enemies to. They won't say it nicely. But because I have such a complex in my subconscious mind, I don't even know it. I'm not even aware of it. I'll shout. Oh, how dare she say that to me? How rude she was. I won't say it to her. I might say it to, oh, Bhavani came in today and she was really horrible. She said this to me. And she really didn't mean anything by it. But because my subconscious mind is a little sick, I took offense. Do you see? But really, poor girl did nothing. Do you see? You put on a little weight, so you put on a little weight, you put on, what's the big deal? And I'll give you an example of this in a big way. There was a woman who came to see me once, and she said she was really, really upset. She wanted to divorce her husband. So I said, why? What's wrong? And is he a good man? Yes, he's a very good man. He's very good to me. So why do you want to divorce him? I'm very curious. If he's a good man and he looks after you, well, he's always telling me I should lose weight. He's always telling me I'm fat. He's always telling me, why don't I lose weight? He doesn't stop. Every night he goes on, I can't live with it anymore. So I looked at her and I said, well, do you need to lose weight? She put on a ton of weight. When he married her, she was a size 10, and now she was a size 18. So he was telling her that he loved her, but please could she lose some weight? And I said, is he telling you something bad? Yes, it's horrible. He should love me as I am. I said, okay, that's it. He should love you. He does love you. He hasn't left you. You want to leave him. Look at what you're doing with your life. Because he says that. Isn't it much easier? Isn't it much easier if you look at yourself? Are you happy with yourself? No. I don't like the way I look. I don't like the way I feel. But the more he says it, the more I eat. Okay, so you don't like it. So he's really reflecting what you already don't like in yourself. So why aren't you doing something about it? No excuse, too lazy. Do you see? Anyway, we talked, she cried, she felt bad, accepted responsibility. And she really did lose the weight. Thank God she didn't lose the marriage along with it. Because he really loved her. He really did love her anyway. But he just told her, you do look younger and prettier this way. And the funny thing is, she lost all her confidence. It's not that she didn't. If she didn't lose her confidence, maybe it's a different matter. But she lost her confidence. And then she got it back. So you see how when the mind is feeling bad in itself, the subconscious reacts in a way, when somebody's really telling you something nice, you don't want to listen to it, so you shut down and you blame them for it. But really what you should do is ask yourself, how truthful is what they're saying? Is it really truthful? Recently, many people have control issues, and they're the first people to tell me that, oh, this person is so horrible, when I tell them I want it this way, no, they want to do it their own way. And I go, they have really control issues. I said, really? I'm looking at one person who has that now, right now. Isn't it interesting how you always attract the kind of people to your life? You have control issues, so if these people are, and you don't like it in them, it's because you don't like it in yourself. Fix yourself and you won't keep getting the same problem. And this person recently that I told this to, and this time she really realized right away. And she goes, oh my God, Nalanie, it's finally sunk in. And why do I want to control? It makes me so miserable. So when she came across this other person that was so controlling, and normally she would have reacted, both of them react with each other, she started using another attitude. I told her to think of this other person as her child, her daughter. They don't know much, she's young, they've got big egos. Try to feel that way. So she treated her gently, nicely. What did she do? Let go of her control and give it to the other woman. I love yoga. It works. Because now there was no more competition. There was nobody, you want to do it this way? Okay, sure, I'll help you. We'll try it your way. No problem. Let's try it your way. No. Maybe your way is better. Do you see? It's just like if you keep doing this, it keeps happening. You just give in, and that's why we say over and over again, humility is necessary in this path. If you don't have humility, you have a big ego, you can't do it. It's hard to do it, all right? So this is a really important thing to understand. So in English we have conscious mind, subconscious mind. Now you know how the subconscious mind works, all right? They're just programmed reaction. And finally, Carl Jung came up with the secret of the superconscious mind, which we yogis call the connection with the higher self. And he realized in his work, when people connected with that, real healing happened. Real healing happened. And throughout my work with counseling with people, people can heal for a short while, but you cannot heal for a long while if you don't go to the course. And the only way to heal is through forgiveness. That is what I've learned, through forgiveness and love. Whatever has happened to you, people who've been, abused in their life, even by their fathers, etc. I've seen some horrible cases, personal cases, things that people have had to deal with, horrible. Unless they forgive and let go, they can never heal. They can never heal. And you can only forgive when you realize ultimately that that person that has caused you pain has the same diamond that you have inside of you. The only difference is they don't know it. Their minds were sick. And you have to look at them as their minds being sick, not their souls. Only way you can do it. So the only way you can heal is ultimately is forgiveness spiritually. To understand that truth. And that takes a long time to understand. Long time. So don't worry. Take your time. We're in no rush. Alright? Don't think you can learn it overnight. But every day, all these practices, this course is going to give you all the practices so that you can do it. And every year, you feel better and better in yourself. Every year. I was telling Pilar today, I said, you know, when I started this path when I was 33. When I was 40, I said, it was my best year ever. And every year as I got older, it's my best year. I'm 58 now, and even going through all the worst thing that could ever happen to me, which was losing my husband, even going through that pain, I still feel every year is getting better. So it's a really odd thing. It's a really odd thing. I can't explain it. I can just tell you that's how I feel. And I think everybody should have this feeling, you know, before they die. Because I think that's why we're born to be on this earth. That we have this feeling while we're living. It's too late when we die. So when we die, we very happily go, bye friends, give me a kiss, bye, don't cry for me, be happy. Because I'll be so happy, I've lived a great life. Do you know? You want to say, I've lived a great life. You want to say this every single day of your life. Because then there is a quietness in you. There is a peace in you. That means you've achieved peace. The quiet that we all starve for. I don't know where this church bell is coming from. Somebody's phone. Oh, nice phone. Yeah, if it's yours, leave it. It's a very nice chime. It reminds me of the time. So that's Western psychology. Now we come to Eastern psychology, and it's much, much, much deeper. It says your consciousness, what you have, is not only a result of this one life. It has come through many lifetimes to bring you where you are now. How many in this room do not believe in reincarnation? And it's perfectly okay if you don't. There's no judgment there. Okay, great. No problem. So just think that for the meantime, you just think that you have this one lifetime and everything that you felt and gone through is because of this lifetime. Don't worry about it. You know, I had a student many years ago, I don't believe in reincarnation, I can't help it, Nalanie. And then about 8 years later, this is 8 years, but she came to all the talks and I still don't like reincarnation, no problem. And one day she goes to me, you know, Nalanie, how could I? It's the only obvious answer. You see, it's a realization, and it should be a realization because you have to know it from here. If you don't know it from here, you'd be a hypocrite. So thank you for being so truthful and honest. So, but over the, I think when you start to see who you are over the next few months, you have to realize, why have certain things happened to me? Why was I born to this family in this life? Was it just a random act? You know, these are the questions you're going to ask yourself. Is it a random act that I've just been born to this family? Is it a random act that I have to go through this life? You know, and then things start to fit in place. Why you've been given your personality, why you have certain children or certain people in your life. It teaches you right away. When people enter your life, leave your life, you also know the answers why. And when you can answer that why to yourself, it's a lot of peace. What I mean, you start to see your life and you see a perfect picture, a perfect plan, a perfect tapestry. And you go, how didn't I see it before? How didn't I see it before? Wow, how perfect is the plan? This is why I always say God's plan is perfect. You can say life's plan is perfect. But when you can see it, it's really fun. You really have fun with life. You laugh all the time. It's one cosmic joke. And that's what you start to realize. And you just have fun, you know, with this divine energy. You know, you don't take things so seriously anymore. And if you want to, you can. You can decide to pretend you're serious too. That's the good fun of it. You can decide you feel like being angry today too. You can decide. That's the nice thing. You can decide. You have that choice on how to be. It's not that the mind controls you. You start to become in charge of your mind. That is the difference, all right? So here we have this lovely crystal bowl. Can you all see the crystal bowl? Great. And here we have our spirit, our pure, 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 pure spirit. And in the beginning, everything was one, everything was beautiful, but everything was one, 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 there was no two. So I just think, you know, as my master said, God got bored with God and split itself with the sound of hum to what we yogis call Prakriti, which is nature. Prakriti, which is nature. We'll have one class just with Prakriti and goodness and all that, what nature consists of. And pure spirit. And pure spirit then became one with Prakriti, nature. Was installed inside. There's a Sanskrit story. The gods in heaven, first of all, when they split, they were all gods in heaven. And this is why in every tradition you have gods and goddesses. Oh, very happy. And then they decided to have some adventure. And they were having a conversation with God. And they go, you know, we want to create man. We want his life to be, and her life to be a little bit interesting. So we send them down to earth. What can we do? Well, we send them down to earth so that they can play a little. Because here, you know, we can touch, feel. We're spirit. And when they come to earth, they're in matter. They can touch, feel. But you know, when they touch, feel, and enjoy all these sense things, they might get carried away and forget who they really are. But really, we're sending them down to have some fun, to experience. But when they get down to earth, they may forget who they are. So we want them to remember who they are, but we don't want to make it too easy for them. Because, you know, man, we created man. If we don't give them a challenge, they get bored very quickly. So where should we put the divine spirit? Should we, one of the gods said, let's put it under the sea that we have created. And that way, you know, man will have to go under the sea, build a submarine, and find the spirit. Oh, too easy. With the brains we've given them, they'll soon learn to do that with technology. Okay, let's put it, where should we put it? Let's put it in the sky. No, with rockets and technology, one day they will learn to find it so easily, and they'll look externally to find it. And then the other God said, I know where man will never look. Too busy looking outside, you'll never look inside. So we came down to earth, and our spirit came inside our bodies, and we started our initial lifespan, and everything was beautiful in the Garden of Eden until separation happened. And isn't it interesting that God took the rib of Adam and made woman? And in very, very, very old scriptures, they say the first human being was one person, and that person was too lonely. So that person, through scientific operations, was divided into two. And that's when duality happened. And duality is good and bad, right? In order to have duality, you have to have good and bad. You have to have high and low. You have to have all the opposites. Otherwise, again, you're back into the same place. Clear crystal, clear bowl. What do you have to do? Nothing. There's nothing to do. Go back to heaven or go back to that planet. So in order to have some play, temptations come in the form of material things, right? Well, the world around us. So we start off very happy, and then when we go out in the world, we need a little bit of water in here first. We go out in this world, which is this water, and everything initially looks to us really very pure and really very nice. And then of course we start going in the world and we see people who are better than us. Oh, they're so much better than us. Kamala, I need your help. And we start to develop, oh, they're so much better than us. Why is this person better than us? And then we start getting angry and we start getting jealous. And then it's not so clear anymore. We still can see, but we're full of red. And the crystal inside is covered by our jealousy and our anger. And then as we go on more, some of us, scared. We're frightened to face life. We can't seem to move on. Sorry. No? I'll make you do the next one so we don't waste time. Thank you. We're cowards. We're really cowards. We don't want to face situations. We don't want to find ourselves. We're just covered with cowardice. And so, anger, cowardice, jealousy, oh my God, the crystal becomes, we lose sight of our crystal, thank you. And then we get attached to all the beautiful things and we don't want to let go, we don't want to let go. Even though they're beautiful and they're so good, that's all we want, that's all we want. So our attachments start. You see how attachments really get you going? And it's blue, huh? But it's the one that is scary. And then we come to a point, and then over many, many lifetimes, we're searching for that peace again. But it's all mucky and we don't know where to look, so we look outside. People have to give me love. People have to give me this. Everybody has to do everything for me. We become so selfish, and we get so mucky, and as we become selfish, the muck gets deeper. And deeper. And thicker. And thicker. Till we come to a point that it's just so dark. It's so dark. And that's when people come to me and say, oh, I really don't understand. What's the point of living? Very good people, maybe a little jealousy, maybe this, but very deep-rooted problems, not only from this lifetime, many lifetimes. Some don't have it so dark and so thick, some have it so dark and so thick. But they've all forgotten that there's that crystal deep inside of them. There's that crystal. So I start to tell them, I learned this great science, and it tells us that that crystal's inside of us. And you know what? You can get back to that place. Why do I want that peace? What am I searching for? Oh, you're searching for that you already have in you. You've just forgotten you had it in you. How do you know you have it in you? Because you're searching for it. Why would you ask for peace and joy and happiness if you didn't experience it? Would you ask for it? You would never. You ask for it because you remember the time that you had total peace and total joy and total clarity. Deep in your chitta, your consciousness is that crystal, and you remember somewhere in the past. You don't know where, you don't know when, but there was that peace, and you want it back. You're fed up with your jealousies, you're fed up with your anger, you're fed up with your love, you're fed up with your attachments, you're fed up, you're exhausted, you're sick, and you're tired. So the science of yoga does this. What you do is, I'm not going to show you here because it's going to be a mess. And I didn't need to put so much in there. No, I won't. I'm just going to experiment with them, just showing them. Just imagine about 50 pails of this water, because it'll need at least 50 pails of this water. If I keep pouring and pour into the bowl, not outside, inside, whereas your soul is, not towards anybody else. You're the cause of my pain, let me put the water in you. Not going to work. You can pour 50 jugs on this girl and it's not going to work. You're still going to feel like that. You have to pour the clear, pure. Blessed are the pure, they shall see God. You have to pour the pure stuff on yourself Sorry, folks. You have to look into you. Sorry. It's not always everyone's fault. And if it is their fault, it's because you've allowed it. You've allowed it. You've allowed them to be at fault. So then what you do is you start pouring this water, 50 jugs, and after a while what will happen? The clear water will take over. And all the muck will come out. And there you'll be able to see your crystal again. And that's yoga's chitta vritti nirodha. You learn that. So now it's clearer what's happening with this science, all right? Now I'm going to explain a little bit about the chitta. So it's very clear to you, and it doesn't seem like a group of foreign words. The nice thing is everybody in this room is quite well versed in spirituality, and you all kind of understand and know that you are spirit, so it makes my job much, much easier. Now it's a difference. Now the difference will be, you just don't know. It's not just about saying the words, but living the words, being the knowing. This is the next step. You will be the knowing. And before I go to chitta, do you need to stretch? Because it's 1 hour already and we have 1 more hour. Does any of you want just to stretch, or should we just go through it?
Go on.
Go on.
Okay. And okay, so let's go. Chitta, let's imagine this is your consciousness. This is inside each one of us. Chitta. In the chitta, sorry, am I blocking? I'm sorry. That's better. I don't block anyone then. Yeah, chitta. In the chitta, we have 3 things. We have what you call, if you look at the next page that we were reading, the next page, page 4, I think it is.
Yeah.
Okay. You look at that page, you'll see some of these words, because you'll have to memorize these words, all right? You have aham, kara, you have buddhi, and you have manas. The whole chitta is your whole range of consciousness, that everything that's happened to you to bring you to this point in your life. Within this consciousness, you have what we call ahamkara. Can you all say it? Ahamkara. You need to know this. Sorry, this will be your homework this week, not an essay, but studying. Ahamkara. And this is connected with your ego. Okay? So if you think, if your ego is selfish, you will kind of look like this. Okay? And when we learn to be selfless, we kind of look like this. Maybe a little tainted. I don't think very many people are that pure. I think I've met a couple in my life only. So, but doesn't matter. Good is good enough. Never expect too much. Just be happy with whatever. Okay, ego. Okay, so that's ahamkara. Buddhi is your intellect. That part of you that can decide. Is this right? Is this wrong? Should I do it? Shouldn't I do it? It will weigh your pros and cons, and it will guide you on what to do. And finally, manas. Manas are part of the thought desiring process in your mind. I want this. I'm hungry, so I'm going to go and get it, eat it. I'm going to go eat it. And this is where addictions come from. I'm angry, I'm emotional, and you just go and do it. I'm hungry, I really shouldn't eat, but I'm really hungry. Oh, so I'll go and raid the fridge and get a whole bar of chocolates, you know? But you can stop the process at any time when you're very aware of it. So, for example, our master says, this is the example he uses, you smell chocolate. And then the Buddhi says, chocolate. I love chocolate. The manas, the desiring part, I really want it. I want it. And the ego will go, I need it, I have to have it. If I don't have it, I won't be happy. I need it. Eat it, right? But we come along with something higher and better. And we go, it's just, for example, we come along with the science of the spirit, which is more delicious and much better. Much better for your health, your body, and everything else. So, what happens with this knowledge is you'll tell your, the manas desire, chocolate, 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 I really want it. And then the Buddha will go, you want to live a good life, you want to make some meaning of your life. If you go to get the chocolate, you'll not be happy with yourself. You'll get disappointed with yourself. I wish I could have said no when I said no, but I had no power, no energy, I just went for it. Don't make it, don't do it. You want to be happy with yourself. You want to be at peace. You were at peace before you saw the chocolate. What has taken away your peace? The chocolate. Do you really want the chocolate to take away your peace? Is it worth it to take away your peace for a piece of chocolate? No, my peace is more important. And that's the Buddhi decision. My peace is more important. My God is more important. But make peace your God. Make peace your God. And then you will say, so the desiring mind, oh, but you really want it, you really want it. And the ego will go for the purest solution. It's not wrong, it's not right. It's what's best for me. It's the purest solution. So, for some people, that chocolate might be good because they need to put on the weight or they need the sugar in the body. Maybe they got low blood sugar. One piece of chocolate could save them. They have to learn to say yes. For other people, that chocolate will kill them. So it's the Buddhi and the ego will have to be coming from a very, very, very selfless place. It's not about the chocolate. The chocolate is not neither good or bad. It's neither good or bad. It's how you use it and how it is in your body. For example, our master always gave us the example of a knife. Is the knife good or bad? Anybody in this room, is the knife good or bad?
Neither.
Thank you. It's neither good, neither bad. If a surgeon uses to save a life, it's brilliant. If a thief uses it to take a life, it's bad. So it is with the entire world around us. The entire world, that's why they call it an illusion. Is anything good or bad? We don't really ever know. What we do know is the way we think about it makes it good or bad. It's a personal point of view. In yoga, we try to get to the highest point of view, which is neutral. When you get to that inside yourself, you can separate the sin from the sinner, the muck from the crystal. The mind is sick, but there's a divine person in there. And you can act accordingly in your life, especially with yourself. Oh, my mind is, today is, in the early days, I remember I used to tell myself all the time when my mind wouldn't stop, go chit, all the nonsense goes in. I say, stop the nonsense, Nalanie. Did you hear it? Did you hear yourself? If you go down that road again, you'll get the same consequences. Do you really want to make the same mistake 100 times? Are you really that dumb? And I didn't like being dumb, so I tell myself that constantly. And then, of course, when you talk to yourself like that, you're training yourself and you're teaching your mind to go a different way. You're recomputing the mind stuff. All right? So this is what we have in all this is within the chitta. Now, many people say when we start spiritualities, oh, you shouldn't have an ego. You shouldn't have an ego. And I always thought in my head, but if you don't have an ego, how do you have an individual personality? And then one day I was listening to my master talk, and he goes, course you need your ego. Without an ego, how are you going to survive in the world? How will you have your own personality? You need your ego. What you need to do with your ego is purify it. Okay? You need it. You don't want to get rid of it. So many people say, I need to get rid of my ego. You need to get rid of the selfishness, not the ego. You need to sort out the thought patterns, not the ego. It's the thought patterns. You can do that. Takes time. Like I said, the whole book now will tell us that it will take you time and give you so many different practices, so many different practices, so that you achieve that peace. And the practices are up to you to decide what you want. So, let me explain again. What does the word yogas mean? Anybody? Union. Chitta? Consciousness. Mind stuff lives in the consciousness. Alright? Vrittis? I didn't explain vrittis. Mind. Thought patterns. I love the word. I keep thinking of all these worms going on in my brain when I see vrittis, you know? Lots of these worms. Vrittis. Can you all say it? Vrittis. Nirodha. Restraint of the modification of the mind stuff is yoga. So you restrain. No, I am not going to go for that chocolate. I prefer my peace. All right? And then what happens? Please, somebody read Sutra 3.
And the seer self abides in his own nature.
Can you say that loud?
And the seer self abides in his own nature.
Then the seer abides in its own true nature. Then the seer abides in its own true nature. Very fancy stuff, right? Let me do this for you. You can go there, you're dirty. And then the seer abides in its own true nature. Once you've learned to restrain the mind stuff, and you see the truth, and you see things for what they really are, and you become blessed are the pure, they shall see God, then you will live in this pure nature, and you will live in that peace. This fly loves me. And you will live in this peace. And that is the idea of the practice. Then the seer abides in its own true nature. This is who we all really are. All of us, this pure crystal inside. We came from that. We have a mantra. Please. I have a job to do here. There is a mantra in Sanskrit that goes Punamida Punamidam Punat Punamudachate Punasya Punavasya Punameva Vashishyate. And what does that mean? That is full, this is also full. This fullness came from that fullness. Though this fullness came from that fullness remains forever full. Okay? The oneness. What people call today the oneness. Alright? Being one. Again, we can show you with another example. Can you hold this? Yes. We have a long candle somewhere. We have an empty one somewhere. This fullness came from that fullness. That fullness still remains forever full. And this is forever full too. Do you see? No matter how much you take from the source is another law of abundance that so many spiritual people talk about today. It's abundant. You can never empty it. It can never be emptied. I remember many years ago when I went on a pilgrimage with my father. And every night, him and Mom would get these red packets out. You know, in Hong Kong we have these licensing packets, a Chinese thing, if anybody lived in Hong Kong. And every Chinese New Year, you give this money to your friends and your children. And they had these packets, and they used to fill every night, hundreds of packets with rupees in it. And I remember sitting there helping them fill it in India, because every day we went to another ashram, another poor place, and this was my father's pilgrimage. And he asked me to come along with him. I was very blessed to have that really great lesson. Those 12 days with him was an eye-opener for me. And I remember, my married side had never been very wealthy at all. So it's been a hard work and a lot of struggle. Although on the outside we looked very wealthy, the truth is we never were. It was always a struggle. So, and I never wanted to complain to Dad, but what had happened is my reality, I had lost that feeling of abundance that I had as a child, living in a big home in luxury. Over the years, I'd lost the confidence and I'd become attached to the feeling of never having enough. Now, this happened so subconsciously that I wasn't even aware of it. And I kept on thinking poor. I was poor. I couldn't afford this. I said, I can't afford this, and I can't afford this. I can't have this, and I can't have that. No, Dad, my school fees for my kids have to come first. We send them to the best boarding schools. We have just enough to send them, And then, so I hadn't realized that this was happening deep within me, that I was developing this fear. And then, of course, I bring this fear out. And I tell my parents, Mom, Dad, I'm not very wealthy. You're giving all your money away. Limitations, right? I was thinking very limited. What's going to happen if, how are you going to have enough? We, your children, don't have so much as you do. If you give it all away, who's going to look after you? Look at my thinking, right? And then my father laughed. And he said to me, darling, have you seen the ocean? It's abundant. Don't you know the divine energy is abundant? If I take out only one bucket, there will be many more. And from that day on, I never worried about money again. And I changed my way of speaking. I changed my way. Every time, took a long time. But I took away that feeling of, it's not abundant, or I can't afford it. When I liked something, I would not say, I won't buy it, I don't deserve it, it's not good enough. I go, you know what? My master taught me this. What is a perfect action? One that causes some benefit to someone, no harm to anyone, myself included. I go, why do I think I don't deserve? Okay, today I feel like buying this, I'm going to buy it. And I come home really happy, but not attached to it. Do you know? I wouldn't spoil myself, but I wouldn't think I didn't deserve it. I started to change the thinking is, if God wants me to have it, I sure deserve it. And if I deserve it, if I have it in my hand this minute to buy it, no big deal. I'm going to buy it for me. I love that feeling. Even the early days was just buying a new lipstick or a new eyeshadow, which I didn't even think I deserved. So my family used to bring me all the presents. What ridiculous thinking. The less I thought I deserved, the less I was opening up to this faith of abundance. And then I remember my master came into my first apartment in Gibraltar. It was a tiny apartment. And I had an old crystal candlestick. You see how deep this feeling lies in many of us. And I want you to be awake to this abundance. It's your thinking that attracts it. And it was cracked. The crystal candelabra was cracked. And my master said to me, it was an expensive one that I had got from my wedding for so many years. And I hid it with a candle, and he saw it, and he goes, Nalanie, it's cracked. And I go, I know, Gurudev, but it's so expensive, I don't want to throw it away. He said, better to throw it away than have somebody cut themselves. Don't you there are many more candelabras all over the world. Very minute. I said, you know, Gurudev, you're right. I need to stop this thinking. So I threw it better in the bin than somebody get cut by it because of my lack of, you know. You see, my mind was so dark. Everything was just, and I thought the world was, oh my God, I work so hard, this martyr, and I struggle so hard. I gave myself the martyr syndrome. Do you know what I'm saying? Are you understanding? A lot of us do that. The reason why I'm showing you these visually is so that when you feel lack, think, this is full, that also is full. This fullness came from that fullness. Though this fullness came from that fullness remains forever full. The law of faith and abundance. And that's why you'll see people who never worry about money always have. And you see, SIS, we prosper. I don't know where the money came from. Oh, I have to tell you, we gave 1,000 euros away yesterday again, and that was to Caritas in La Linea. We have the receipt to show you even. We were so happy. 1,000 euros because we found out through Shanti's husband, who golfs with a few men, and they give some charity to Caritas in La Linea. And of course, there's such a recession now. So there's this lovely young girl called Begonia who we met yesterday, 27-year-old. She doesn't get paid. I asked her, how do you get paid? She said, I don't. Wow, nice to meet people like that in this world. Doesn't worry about it. The government stopped funding them. They house 12 people and they feed 87 people every day. And their money will last till November, and then they have no more coming in. So look at the law of abundance. So I said, so when we gave them 1,000, she thought, oh, wow, that's a lot of money, you can do a lot. She wrote me a lovely email today. I have somebody who came in at 5, wants to do a triathlon. Wanted to meet me, want to do a triathlon to raise money. Doesn't know what cause. I said, I got the perfect cause. She said, want to do something at home. She didn't say abroad. She said at home. I said, I just met this lady. I said, want to come straight to my email. I just received an email. She's looking forward to more help. I'm too busy. I can't do it. You want to do the triathlon? We'll send it to our mailing list. If somebody will join you, let's do the sponsorship. Put them in touch today. So hopefully more money will come. You see, when you think abundance, I can't do it, but somebody will come, God, and give them what they need. And this is how the abundance work. But you can't hold on and think, this is my project. I'm the one who found it. No, you give every project away. Give it. People want to help. You do it. You bring out the best in yourself. It's abundant. And you can only learn the law of abundance if you give it to people. Give them the knowledge they need to be abundant. So I told this young lady, you're abundant. Go do it. But do you think we'll help you? Whatever you need, we'll help you. We'll send all the information. Do it. And she's so excited. There's submission. Do you see? And there's also the same law where there is a cry for pure help, like in this home, this Caritas home, and there will always be help. Now, Romania, same thing. There was a cry, the Down syndrome people. The woman who runs it, she only gets like 400 euros a month. Her daughter is down. And they managed to fight for this little small place with 3 bedrooms or 4 bedrooms. And she takes 12 children, but there's so many women who need children. She has to hire 2 people. Romania is very poor. With her own wages, she pays everybody. And she scrounges to all the little shop in the villages and to all the business people to get money. Every month she scrounges. She uses her own salary. And we come back and immediately, through one of our donors, anonymous donors, we get 3,000 euros to help them. So I'm just showing you the law of abundance. It's nothing to do with you, me, anyone. It's like we're all like little instruments. When we're pure ego, we can be used for the highest cause. But when we're all selfish and oh, poor me, I'm so poor, I can't afford this, so I concern, the magic is lost. It can't flow. We will not be used because we're too blocked. And when we get whatever money, we may use it in the wrong way. This is why you hear so many charities going wrong. So much corruption because they see so much money. It's very easy to be corrupted with so much. I've seen it happen so many times in my life. It's so sad. I've seen good people turned bad because of money. Really very, very sad. It's made me feel very sad. So, you know, this is a constant battle. It's only an energy. It's an energy that you pass on, you share. The more fixation you have with it, the less you get it. The less you think about it, the more you share, the more it comes. If you always say, I need, and asking, I need, you will always be needy. But you think, I'm generous, I'm rich, and you will always be rich. Because whatever little you get, you will be rich. You don't need riches to be rich. You're really rich when you are in peace. Because in your peace, you have everything you need. Okay? So this is the yoga science, and this is yoga chitta vritti nirodha, and this is when you will abide in your true nature, which is abundant, which the yogis call, write this down, truth, knowledge, bliss, absolute. And when the chitta is cleaned up, that is how you live. Truth, in truth, because you have to live truthfully. In knowledge, with awareness and consciousness about what you are doing. You need to be conscious about what you're doing. That's why I always say you should be aware. Learn awareness exercise. In our hatha class, we do that all the time. They have to be aware of their body. They have to be aware of the things in the room. They have to be aware, awake, learn, practice till you get really good at it. You know, sit in your room, do simple practices. Just look, have you noticed this? Have you noticed this book is a little tilted? Have you noticed that? This is a practice. When you practice every day, little things and make them right, what happens? It becomes a habit. Now it's about forming a new habit. Many experiments have been done. By constant repetition of a new thing, 21 days, you can change an old habit to become a new habit. So you just got to work it. Find exercises for yourself. What are you weak with? And then find exercises, little games for yourself. Now I've got this craze. Any of you have an iPad? I play Boggle. Because I have no time to write too much these days or study words too much, and I love words and I love everybody. Just forget about it. I can't do it. Just don't have the time to do it. Every day is so full from 5:30 to midnight. So I give myself a break in between. I get my iPad and I play Boggle, and it's great fun. It's joining up words and making words, and you have to do it really fast. I'm always competing with myself. It's great. I always try to break my last target, and for me that's exciting, it's fun, and it also keeps the brain working, because I know I'm not doing too much of that in that direction, too logical. I need some more logical thinking. So this is what I do for myself, keep the brain active in that department. Spirituality is not a problem for me. Yes?
A question, so when you say exercises, do you mean those kinds of exercises? Those kind of
Absolutely. Well, depends. If you are sort of person that uses your mind too much and thinks too much, then wrong exercise for you. I'm too peaceful. I need to make some energy. Okay? So otherwise, I don't want to be tamasic also, you see. So for you, let's say for somebody who thinks a lot, your exercises should be reversed. You use the opposite exercise. What would you use? Good question. Give me a solution. What would you do to quieten your mind?
What I've been trying to do recently is, for example, when I do something which is really mundane, like fold in the washing, try to be in the washing rather than have the head all over the place. Try to be conscious of the folding of the clothes and just trying to be present.
Very good. Excellent. Excellent.
It's very difficult for me to do that.
Okay, it'll become easier and easier. It will become easier and easier to just be in the present moment. You keep practicing for a long time, which you will be learning with Sri Patanjali, how you practice to make yourself successful. Just never give up on you, okay? Never give up on you. And now we go to the 4th sutra. Can somebody please read it?
At other times, the self appears to assume the forms of the mental modifications.
Somebody else read it again.
At other times, the self appears to assume the form of mental modification.
Well, when you're not in your divine self in peace, you think you are your thoughts. You think you're miserable, you think you're unhappy, you may describe yourself, I'm attractive, I'm this, I'm that, but really that is all superficial. That's not who you really are. But you identify with the world outside as being who you really are. If people tell you you're beautiful, you think you're beautiful. If somebody tells you you're ugly, you'll feel upset and you'll get disturbed. But if you really know who you are, doesn't matter what they're saying to you, because this is who you are. You go, this is who I am. If they want to think I'm ugly, great. If they want to think I'm beautiful, great. Up to them. Beauty is in the eyes of the beholder. Doesn't affect you. Doesn't affect you. It's their thing, fine. It's okay, no problem. Really no problem. That's what they think, because you can see you know who you are. But when you don't know who you are, you identify with who you think you are, or who other people tell you you are. So the whole process now is undoing what, many of us are not, 99% of us don't really live who we are. Because we've been so conditioned to think we are a certain way, and we have to keep up this image, and we have to do this in order to be accepted in life, and we have to behave a certain way, and we have to talk a certain way, and we have to, when I'm with this person, I have to behave like this, when I'm this person, I have to, and then we lose, we have so many masks. So many masks. So you imagine how complicated the mind is, how disturbed that mind is. You want to, you're frightened of not getting approval, so you behave one way to one person, another. It's too much mind stuff. Too exhausting. Too exhausting. So once you know who you are, then you start to appreciate your human personality that you were given. And you really will be very logical about it. You will start to look at yourself like the knife. Is it good? Is it bad? It's neither. But, okay, here are my talents. What am I going to do with them? These are my faults. What am I going to do with them? And you look at it very clinically, very scientifically, and you start to study what you can do with yourself. And notice, if people keep telling you something about yourself continuously, and you keep denying it, that's precisely what's wrong with you. Like the lady who was, had put on so much weight, and her husband was telling her, she kept denying it and didn't want to hear it. You need to look at it. If somebody keeps telling you something so much, it's really a sign from the divine that you really have to look into that in yourself. You really have to. So instead of denying it, ask why. Why are people telling me this? What do I have to change? Don't say, this person did this to me and that person did. No. You can be doing that for the rest of your life and be miserable. Choice, again, is yours. And with this science, you have the choice to make yourself happy or miserable. As my master said to me, heaven and hell are in your mind. Where do you choose to live? And I said heaven. And then he said, see heaven then. See heaven. You see hell, you will live hell. So it's all a process of yoga's chitta. And then the siya abides in its own true nature. Got it? Everybody happy with that? Understood? Question time.
With regards to the last bit of the sutra that you were talking about.
Thank you.
When somebody keeps repeating the same thing to you, it's important to maybe look inside yourself to see whether maybe it's, you've got an issue with that and you need to move on. But if it's things like someone says, you need to sort yourself out, which is quite a general comment.
It's exactly that.
If that comes very frequently, yes, you are aware that there are certain areas of your life that you need to sort out.
Yeah.
But that can also be seen as an attack. Because there are things that I don't want to sort out because I'm quite happy with some things, but some things I do. So
yes.
It depends on the
Well, you seem very clear, right? In your case, you seem very clear. You accept there are some things you do need to sort out.
Yeah.
And that's maybe what you need to do. Maybe you're delaying on that front, and it's probably on that side that it's coming. But you will also get people who like to tell you what to do with your life. That is also true. It seems that from what you are telling me, from your language, is no, you don't have to sort everything out. That is not absolutely true. But the thing that you do have to sort out, you need to sort out. Move it a little bit faster. You're procrastinating. Sorry, that's what I'm getting from what you're telling me. Okay, I'm sorry. You're procrastinating. That's why you're getting. But don't trust that. Also, there are people who will do it to make you feel lousy. Also, you also have to be aware that others who will be really truthful and others who will just want to hurt you. So, at least you can discriminate between that, and that's a good discrimination. You should know that, And I just think it's a little bell ringing. You can move a little faster on this kind of thing, okay? Any other questions? Yes?
When you say you choose in your mind to live in heaven or hell, are you then creating some sort of duality, like the right and the wrong, in that respect, or am I misunderstanding?
Yeah, it goes beyond right and wrong. When you're in heaven, you go beyond right and wrong. For me, heaven is a place of unconditional love. I don't believe there is hell when we die. I believe, this is my true belief, that when we die, everybody is loved equally. I think heaven and hell are on this earth. And so, what you're doing is you're choosing a way to live that will give you peace, joy, bliss, and harmony. Harmony, just to live a simple, peaceful, easeful, and useful life. This is what I'm talking about. Heaven. Duality will always be here. Always. The world is a university we come to learn. So we will always have duality. There's no duality, there is no life. Okay, thank you. So actually we're trying to go beyond right and wrong, which is a really hard thing to do. Took me years. Took me actually 12 years to understand that. Took me a long time to understand that. Thank you. So take your time, okay? It's a hard concept.
Yeah.
Very hard. Yeah. Any good questions? Yeah.
How does it work, this mechanism of reflection of what you don't want to accept of yourself? It becomes reflected to the other person in front of you. How does that work?
Okay. You see, many times we have, for example, it's very good you brought that question because you just brought something to my mind that I never thought of till now. Thank you. I remember, didn't I just talk about the feeling that I was not wealthy, etc., right? Now, so what would happen, right? I felt that deep within me and I hadn't even noticed. So when business was bad and my husband would say, oh, today we had a bad day, right? Instead of saying, yeah, today we had a bad day, what would I do? I would say to him, you are so negative. Why are you so negative? But I didn't look deeper. I was negative inside already. It was just covered up with my sweetness, or so I thought. I was feeling that things weren't good, that we couldn't afford this, that, and that. But I wasn't as honest and open as him. When he said to me, business is bad today, I said, oh, you're so negative. Are you understanding the depth of what I'm saying?
Okay.
Do you see it?
It goes through. Yes.
It was so deep within me. It was only when my father said, and then my guru said, that I realized I may tell him he's negative, but look who's really feeling the negativity. I may not say it, but I was really deeply feeling that feeling. Wow. So him saying it was really bringing out what I was feeling. But rather than listen, I attacked.
Is it projecting?
It's projecting. I think we come to earth with certain partners and certain people to learn things about ourselves. I really believe. I've seen it in my own marriage. I learned the greatest lessons. The best guru of all was my husband. And those lessons now I learned, they no longer needed to be learned. I guess that's why he went. He did his job, a great job too. Put me straight. What a sacrifice. What a sacrifice. So that, yeah, I see that extremely clearly. There's no doubt. Very good question. Yes, reflecting. Sometimes it's so deep you don't even see it. You don't even know you are negative yourself. But you are the same. You have the inner anger, the inner negativity that you're accusing somebody else of having. You actually have it in you. It's only hidden in you, and it's not hidden in the other person. Sorry about that fly. Keeps
What
bothering.
happens after when you realize that it's a reflection of yourself?
Oh wow, then you don't really, you don't like yourself so much. It's a real awakening. And then you go, oh my God, oh my God. In my case, I thank God I've been given this disposition of being humble enough to say that, you know, you're right, I'm sorry, I was wrong about this. I also need to heal myself. So give me time, let me go on my retreats, let me find my soul, and I'll come back a better wife. That's what happened, and that's exactly the road I took. Life became happier. When you accept things, there's not so much friction anymore. You don't argue as much, you don't blame as much. So your whole world, your home becomes a more peaceful place. That's the result. The home becomes peaceful. When the home is peaceful, the children become peaceful. When the children become peaceful, the people around all of you become peaceful. Then your home becomes a haven to all, because it feels that energy of peace, because it's sincere and it's true, and it comes from a real healing rather than a blaming. That's what happens next. Life gets better. But initially, you feel really yucky in yourself. I call it, when you discover this kind of thing about yourself, that's not so nice, I call it an ego sickness feeling, because I used to feel like throwing up when I discovered it, and I feel like a whirling in my stomach, and that made me feel like I was literally going to be sick. And it was literally, I was throwing up the negativity in me that I finally recognized. And it's never pleasant to recognize something unpleasant in you, never pleasant, and then to vomit it out. That's why I physically felt like throwing up, physically. See, that chakra, the chakra of will, making the change, I'm throwing away the old. You know, I understand it all now, but at that time was a questioning. I just remembered my master's words, purify your mind, purify your mind. And that was, to me, make peace your God. That was really what helped see me through this yucky period of growing up. Because it can be quite distasteful and quite uncomfortable. Yeah. This is why they say when you start meditating, you need a teacher or a guide when you go through the spiritual path, because you're going to go through all these emotions, and so if you don't have a guide, then you think there's something wrong with you. You think you're sick, or you think there's something wrong with your mind, or I don't want to do this spirituality, it's too difficult, but really it's just a process of purging. It's just a process. And many of my students know this ego sickness well, right?
It's so beautiful, because after a while when you realize that it stops you from judging, because the minute somebody is making you react and you're judging them, oh, look at that, what does that mean? So then you are a bit more easeful to judge.
Become more compassionate. You become more compassionate. You really do. That's the gift. And when you're compassionate, you're more comfortable. You're not doing this. You're not tense. You're not, you don't have those lines on your head. You start to look younger. You start to be free. You start to enjoy a little fun in your life. And that's what we're here for, to enjoy a little fun. Not take everything so seriously. But first we have to fix ourselves. Very good question.